with some lengthier outbreaks of rain getting in across Orkney, Shetland, the Hebrides and Highlands, Scotland as well. Still quite cool in the northwest, but otherwise feeling pleasant in the sunshine. Now, earlier today, you might have noticed there were one or two problems with our weather forecasts on the app and on the website. That was down to our data supplier that supplies the BBC. Now, we think that's been fixed, so we apologise for any inconvenience that caused, but we think the forecast on the app and on the website is getting back to normal now, Ben.
All right, Chris, thank you. And that is today's BBC News at 1. The news continues here on BBC One. Now it's time to join our colleagues across the nations and regions for the news where you are. Do have a very good afternoon.
Thanks, Ben, and welcome to Look East. Our top story this lunchtime, remembering the tireless campaign of a Suffolk father who spent decades trying to find out who killed his daughter. Before his recent death, John Ward from Bury St Edmunds became well known for his long-running crusade to get justice for his daughter Julie, who went missing at the age of 28 on a wildlife photography trip in Kenya in 1988. John found her remains himself after flying out to the Masai Mara Game Reserve. Ahead of his funeral today, Susie has been speaking to John's son, who says this shocking discovery is what fueled his father's 35-year mission to find the truth about Julie's death.
He was extraordinary with detail. He would dissect a sentence to decide why somebody had used a word or a comma or what tonation they were using. But in terms of facts as well, he was able to assimilate a lot of facts and come to a very sensible conclusion very quickly. That's how his brain worked.
And what effect did it have on the family as a whole that he spent so much energy in trying to get justice for Julie?
Yes, it had an effect on family life, but it became part of family life as well. Dad's very good at working on Julie Kenya, putting it in his box, then becoming a dad again, and going up to the asparagus farm in Norfolk and chatting about football or, you know, the politics or Look East or whatever. It wasn't all about Julie, it was when he was working on it.
And what do you think really drove him? We know obviously there was grief, but to keep going as long as he did, what was that about? Was it about justice? Was it anger?
Anger's part of it. In the conversations I had with him, he refers it actually in his book as well to the moment he finds Julie's remains. And, you know, he's a father, that's his daughter, and there's parts of Julie in the middle of that. Drove him, but even when he said he was going to give up, he just remembered that moment and he couldn't let somebody get away with it. And that, whether that's anger, father's love, I don't really know. All I know is that that moment re-inspired him over the years.
If John had been asked how he'd like to be remembered, how all of us should remember him, what would he have said?
Dad didn't understand that he was unique. He didn't get that at all. The drive, the bravery, the tenacity, the forensic. He didn't know that that's what other people didn't do. So I think anybody who would talk about him as a bit of a hero, he wouldn't understand that. But I think what he's done is absolutely incredible.
Bob Ward speaking to Susie. The search for an Essex sailor who went missing while taking part in a solo sailing challenge has been stood down after his boat was found. Duncan Luigi was taking part in the Jester Challenge from Plymouth to Ireland and should have arrived at the final destination just over a week ago. The UK Marine and Coast Guard Agency says he was not on his yacht when it was found off the coast of Cornwall yesterday. A man has been convicted of killing another man at an Essex pub 2 days before Christmas last year. 51-year-old Dave Peck died after being shot with a crossbow inside the Lamb and Lion pub in Westcliff. Alfred Turner, who lives in the same road as the pub, was arrested shortly after. Today at Basildon Crown Court, he admitted manslaughter by diminished responsibility. He will be sentenced in September. A mobile food hub to help those struggling with the cost of living crisis in rural areas has been launched in Cambridgeshire. Free and cut-price food is being taken to 6 villages in the county with the help of volunteers and funding by South Cambridgeshire District Council.
The cost of living is rocket high and the fuel bills are going every single day. But at the moment it's in control thanks to all the situations and the government. But unfortunately people are struggling, especially the people who are on minimum wage or 0-hour contracts.
Next, the incredible achievements of 3 young gymnasts from the Waveney Club in Lowestoft. Grace, Simon and Jack have returned from the Special Olympics World Games with 18 medals between them, including 10 golds. The trio excelled at the event in Berlin, which is for athletes with intellectual disabilities. Jonathan Park reports.
A guard of honour for 3 special gymnasts. Grace, Simon and Jack with medals galore given the star treatment.
It's been a wild ride. It has been just incredible and life-changing to think that I'm able to do this now after years of training. It feels like it's just the work has paid off.
And boy did it pay off for Simon and co. 18 magnificent medals between them at the Special Olympics World Games in Berlin, which gives athletes with intellectual disabilities a chance to shine and meet some friends for life.
It was absolutely amazing meeting different countries from all over the world. There was people from Spain, South Africa, Australia. I can't really name them all.
14-year-old Grace cleaned up in her category, winning 4 golds, including the overall one. Jack also dominated, incredibly, 6 golds plus a silver, all in a couple of days' work for the 17-year-old.
It was good to be a part of the team and wearing all the same kit is being part of something. Then there's other teams and we made friends.
Of course, the medals equal success, but taking part in the world's largest inclusive sporting event offers so many other benefits too.
Because they've been out there and just learning, making good choices. We've been commuting around 2 cities, so we're in Stuttgart and Berlin. So, it's not just about the sport. They've also learned so many life skills as well.
Which medal is most special to you?
Probably floor. I did really well in floor.
Why was it so good?
Because I stretched my fingers and pointed my toes and just smiled.
I'm very proud of my gymnasts. I've taught them for a number of years and to see them compete on an international stage was amazing.
And to do it, were you just given birth as well?
Yeah, 7 weeks old she came across to Germany with us, so yeah, she's definitely been the youngest team member.
Mum Ellen and Dad Alex have got their hands full. A new one on top of running the Waveney Gym Club, which is one of Britain's best when it comes to disability provision. Jonathan Park, BBC Look East.
Well done to Grace, Simon and Jack and the baby too. Right, let's get the weather with Jules.
Thanks very much, Lou. Well, some June sunshine to start the day for some of us this morning. But the final day of the month has become a much cloudier affair across the board over the last few hours as this warm front has pushed in from the west, introducing more in the way of cloud. And we've got a cold front following in behind, and I'll come to that in a moment. So not a lot of brightness and sunshine expected for this afternoon, and the thickest of the cloud, especially in the west, could produce a little bit of light rain and drizzle. Top temperatures, well, we're looking at highs of about 17 to 21 degrees Celsius, and it's going to be quite blustery out there. Those southwesterlies could gust up to 30 miles per hour. So tonight we hold on to the cloud, some bits and pieces of light rain and drizzle, then a drier slot before that cold front I mentioned introduces some showers, but not for everyone, later on in the night. And it is going to be more humid compared to last night, with lows of 14 to 16 degrees Celsius. So tomorrow that cold front eventually pulls away to the east, so we may have some showers to start the day in places, but for many of us Saturday a day of sunny spells, and temperatures tomorrow probably a bit higher. I think we'll be looking at top values of around 21 to 24 degrees Celsius, but still a keen wind, more from a westerly direction tomorrow, but still gusts of 30 miles per hour, not just on Saturday, but Sunday too. So it is a pretty windy weekend, but Sunday largely fine and dry. And that goes for the start of next week too. Maybe some showers during Monday afternoon and perhaps even some longer spells of rain come Wednesday, but we're not sure actually if that's going to reach us.
Watch this space, Julie, thank you. Well, that's all from us until Look East at 6:30. Have a good afternoon.
I can't believe you gave up the music thing to the end.